Hello everyone. How are we doing? Hope we all good. Hope you all had a nice weekend. It's Monday. We're here, 8:49. This is probably about half nine if I can get this done quick enough. Um, yeah, let's just get straight into things. I've already tried to film this once, but I've decided I swear too much in my videos. I'm gonna try cut that down. So every time I swear, I'll restart the video because I'm gonna try cut it out, or use it to a minimal amount and just not do it for the sake of doing it. But yeah. So I want to get straight into things. Um, so at the weekend, we saw a boxer at York Hall on Friday night, and then we had Regis Prograis Saturday night. And if you were lucky enough to be at the Levi Giles fight, which I'm still absolutely gutted I couldn't be there for, I can't tell you how gutted I actually am because I can't put it into words. It's simple as that. I really wanted to be there, but I just couldn't make it. I just could not make it. Heartbreak. But yeah, so the only two major things on the Regis Prograis card that I want to talk about is obviously Regis Prograis and Rama Ali. Rama Ali, I felt bad for her. We all felt bad for her, but she seemed very clear on getting back. Um, you know, straight back on social media afterwards saying she'll be back. Congratulations. Very respectful in defeat, as you should be. So fair play to her. Hats off to her. I'm sure she'll be back. She got dropped for the first time in the fifth, and then got flatlined in the eighth. But I'm sure she'll be back. These things, it's boxing. Anything can happen in this sport. We all know this. We're all boxing fans here. We all know that anything can happen when you're in that ring. So that happened, upset. She'll be back. She'll be better, and I'm sure she'll still become a star. I'm sure she will. Obviously, Riga's Prograis, so a bit of a dodgy one, bit of a boring one as well. It was a bit not a tough watch, but you know when you sat there, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, the sun's already coming out, and I'm sat there contemplating my life as to why I've sat there and watched that fight when I could have just been sleeping peacefully. But hey, I stayed up for it. I watched it. Fair play. Um, a lot of people seem to think Zorilla won. When I look around on BoxRec and stuff, that's why we take it with a pinch of salt, 'cause BoxRec. But in the fan section on BoxRec, when you look at the scorecards, fans actually have it scored 114, 113 for Zorilla. Obviously one judge had it scored that same way, but then the other two judges had it 118, 109, and 117, 110, which is a bit weird. How can you get such a split set of scorecards? That's what I want to know. Um, but that's that. Regis program, both Eddie Hearn both said that it was a bit of a disappointing performance from Prograis. Um, but they'll just move all eyes forward. Like I said, he was very nervous. Homecoming night, plus obviously matchroom debut. So it was quite the nervy night. At the end of the day, I can't sit and say that he's silly for that because I've never done it. I've never been in the ring. Well, I've been in the ring, but I've never stepped into the ring in front of how many thousand people. So I can't sit and say that that it's bad from him. It's not. Nerves are a natural thing in life, aren't they? Everyone gets nervous. I get nervous before doing interviews. You know, that's when I'm talking to one person. I'm not even talking in front of a crowd of people. I'm talking to one person, but I get nervous. So I'm not going to sit here and give him stick for that. Nerves are a real thing. Well, they've always been a real thing, but nerves, they it happens. It just happens. At the end of the day, he still got the win, and it's on to the next one for him. At the end of the day, this was made for him to win. I think the Liam Pyro fight would have been much more exciting as well. And I feel like it would have been a bit easier for Regis. Um, just because the change of opponents, Zarrillo looked like a very solid opponent. See, a lot of people said they wanted Arnold Barboza Jr., but that's a fight that you don't make on short notice. I think that's a fight that you have to make a set in stone main event. I don't think you pull that fight in as a last minute, not last minute, but a replacement. Arnold Barboza Jr. is not a replacement type fighter. But hey ho. Then we look to the boxer card. So I'm not even got my phone on this time because I always tried to record this once. So we opened the card with Joshua Gustav. I thought he was fantastic. I'm saying it now, I thought he was fantastic. And he was so close to getting Remy Schroeder out of there. In that last round, the sixth round, he was so close to getting him out of there. And he was just, if he upped that level a little bit more, I reckon he could have got him out of there. But at the end of the day, another points win for him, another solid win. I think it's 5-0 for him now. Um, so yeah, he was just solid. I was very impressed, and I said on my video on Friday, I thought he was going to do very well, and he did just that. He did just that. So hats off to him. Hats off. Then we saw Roman Fury. I was very, 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 very impressed by Roman Fury for a second at a time in a ring. Wow, he looks really good, really composed against a tough opponent. A bit of an awkward fight as well. 'Cause he was so much smaller than him. He was so much smaller than him. Like Roman Fury's like up here and he was down here. Jeez. But yeah, Roman Fury looked very good for just his second time in the ring. I was very, again, impressed. On the whole, I was actually quite impressed with the fighters and all the fights. Um, so yeah, fair play to him. Again, points, solid, bosh. Then we saw Hassan Azim. Hassan, again, fantastic. One round demolition job. Said that he's very happy just to be progressing in the way he is. You know, he's not got the same pressure as Adam. Obviously, Adam's already becoming a bit of a headline fighter for boxer. Whereas Hassan still gets to sit back a little bit and just work. Whereas Adam's now got, obviously, it doesn't change the fact that you still got to work. Obviously, you're a boxer, you're going to have to improve. But I feel like there's that added bit of pressure now on Adam Azim as there is to Hassan Azim. Um, Obviously, Hassan's days will come. Hassan will be a headline fighter eventually, as Adam is now. Um, so it just depends what happens. They might obviously, if they can, stick Adam on a undercard as well. Stick him on a big undercard. Like I'd say the Eubank Smith undercard or something maybe, but I don't think Eubank Smith 2 is getting made anymore. With things that have come out over the last few days, so we'll have to just wait and see what happens. Then we saw Sam Gilly with that brutal body shot. That body shot was it was beautiful. It was flipping beautiful. No bad words. Come on now. Yeah, it made me feel sick. I was actually sat in this chair right here, and I was just and I was like, it made me feel ill. I felt ill. Man, what a shot. But yeah, solid performance. It was a good fight as well. It was a really good fight to end off the prelims. Um, yeah, fantastic, man. Fair play to Sam Gilly. Um, yeah, obviously I said on Friday I didn't know a lot about him, and I didn't. But obviously I do vaguely remember him fighting on the Super Sunday card that Boxer did last year at Alexandra Palace. I remember he fought for the English title, I want to say. I'll fact check that later. And then we opened up the televised section with Isaac Chamberlain. Isaac Chamberlain was in it. It was a bit of a straight one for him, but and he said it himself. He's a bit worse for wear. He'd been keeping himself in prime shape for way too long. You know, so you got to think you're the weight cutting as well. And he kind of had to keep his weight quite low for a while. So I know he didn't have to constantly be under 200, but he had to keep his weight quite low. Then obviously he's probably been the most unlucky fighter in British boxing at the moment. Through no fault of his own, fights have been called off. Obviously, he had the Lawal fight called off. Then he got a replacement opponent for an 8 rounder. Um, Obviously came at championship weight on the way, and then in case anything happens in the main event, then his whole fight got pulled off the Bournemouth card, which was quite upsetting. Um, I remember coming home from Lee Wood and I was sat there checking my phone trying to find the Isaac Chamberlain result. I just couldn't see it anywhere. And obviously, he issued the statement saying that his fight got pulled for and just yeah, it got pulled. It was quite sad. Um, I think he was still meant to fight Daniel Bachansky this week, well, on Friday. But obviously they then brought in Dylan Brage on last minute. Not last minute, I'd say. I guess there's a bit more time. But yeah, it was still a solid 8 rounds for him just to get back in the ring after nearly a year out. Um, Probably better that he kind of had that fight before going straight in for Lawal. Because now it looks like he'll be fighting Lawal August 5th at the OVO, Wembley Arena in London. Hopefully that fight gets made. I really would like to see Lawal and Chamberlain fight. I think those two could on a really good fight, man. I think they could put on a really good fight. And then we saw who was it after Isaac Chamberlain? Aaron McKenna versus Yusina Lima. What a fight, man. That fight was so good. That was my fight of the night. That fight was unbelievable. I think the scorecards are a bit too wide. Because if you're going to sit there as a fan and look at the scorecards and not have actually watched the fight, you're not going to see what was so good about it. But there was something so good about that fight. Just the pace, the pressure. It was a really good fight. And fair play to Aaron McKenna, man. Obviously it was a short notice replacement. Originally meant to be Shaquille Thompson, but had to pull out because of an injury. So fair play to Aaron, man. And fair play to Yasina Lima as well. Lee Eaton getting his fighters again more opportunities. Lee Eaton's out there, man. He's getting his fighters some sick opportunities, man. Fair play. Um, he's really involved with the boxing community as a whole. When it's like look on Twitter and stuff, he's always there. I do really want to get Lee Eaton on for an interview. I really would like to get him on. But yeah, then we saw Vidal Riley versus Anis Taj. The rematch, I've had Anise on the channel before. Gutted for him, but if we are going to be honest, the rematch was just kind of made for Vidal to get rid of the doubt from the first fight. Obviously, I know Anise has gone in there with the intention of winning like every other fighter would, and fair play. But when you're looking at it from the general public, all the public were questioning what was the point of this rematch. But Vidal did the job, and he started complaining about some low shots. Don't get me wrong, there were some low, but the ones where he started complaining, which led to the knockout. My personal opinion, they didn't look low. They were on the belt. The belt isn't low, it's when you go below the belt. Um, so yeah, fair play to Vidal. Brutal knockout. If that left uppercut landed, ooh, I think Anis's head would have. I think someone at the back of York Hall would have caught his head because that was venomous. Ooh. Then we saw Caroline Dubois. I feel like I'm a bit. I feel like I'm missing a fight. I really feel like I'm missing a fight. Um, oh no, I'm not. Fair. Yes, then we saw Caroline Dubois. She looked unbelievably good again. Obviously, if you didn't know as well, York Hall was incredibly hot. If you watched the show, they didn't mention it once. They just got on with it. They did not mention how hot York Hall was once. I'm joking, by the way. I heard it about 20 times. But I don't blame him, because I was in there the week before and it was quite hot in there that night. Um, Obviously way hotter on Friday night. Wish I was there, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad I wasn't there. But yeah, Caroline looked unbelievably good against the world number three, according to BoxRec. Obviously, BoxRec again, pinch of salt. You always take BoxRec because pinch of salt when it comes to rankings, because rankings are dodgy. Not dodgy, bit confusing at times. But that does actually see Caroline Dubois move to world number three now on BoxRec. So, they see for me, right? I still think it's too soon for a world title shot, just based on the way I see the men. You don't see a 7-0 fight or go for a world title, but this is women's boxing. Women's boxing's not got those same levels that you go to. But not as well that Caroline DeBois looked really good in that whole process as well. So she is ready for a world title shot. But in my eyes, just because obviously I've watched her from her debut. I remember sitting down watching her debut. I think it was in Cardiff she made her debut on the Liam Williams, Chris Eubank undercard. Hold on. Yeah, yeah. I remember watching that night. I've watched every fight since, and it just doesn't feel real that she's getting a world title fight. Watching her come from the very bottom to how where she is now. Fair play. Fair play. Then we saw the main event. Fraser Clark versus Marius White. Um, that's all you got to really say. Game's the game. Um, Fraser got what he needed. No, I don't think it was a main event worthy fight, to be honest. Obviously, I know it wasn't the original main event. Um, but yeah, a bit of a snoozer. But Fraser did what he needed to do. He got the job done. And then it's effectively, like Ben Shalom said, it's what they wanted. You know, I understand how this all works. I understand that Fraser Clark needed rounds, and Marius White gave him the rounds. Fraser Clark said he didn't want to necessarily make a statement. He said he just wanted to follow his game plan and win, and he did exactly that. He did very well. He looked very good. Um, he did win clearly. So yeah, he got the job done. Um, he even kind of said it himself that he's kind of glad that he had this fight instead of the Wardley fight. I think he's realised now there's levels, and he still needs to do a few more. I wouldn't say a few more. Um, Obviously, from what I understand, they're still trying to push to make that fight. So who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? But yeah, that's all the boxing from the weekend. Obviously, we had Levi Giles as well. Main two I want to speak about now, obviously my boy Levi, and then my good mate James Richardson. Those two it sounds like they were very good. Obviously, Levi got the stopping, and James won a very wide points decision against Jensen Irving, if that's his name. Oh, I'm so good with names. Yeah, Jensen Irving, undefeated fighter as well. Fair play to everyone on the card. It looked really good. So again, fair play to Carl Greaves, man. Carl Greaves is such a good promoter. Um, I do want to get him on my own channel. I did a college project with him. And you can see it on my college channel. Somewhere. I've got a link on my Twitter somewhere. That's actually another thing I want to talk about. I've made a new Twitter, no, new Instagram page. I've made a personal Twitter page. So I've now got JTH Boxing Twitter, and now I've got Josh Hart or Josh T Hart, my initials. Um, So yeah, I've got Josh T Hart now on Twitter. That's where you can see a bit more of my personal life. So I'm just going to separate the things just to make myself look a little bit more professional in there. I want to just separate my boxing work, my media work to my personal life. Not gonna lie, I don't really tweet that much on my personal account. Um, but yeah, and then I also got a new Instagram page as well. I've actually got a whole JTH Boxing Instagram page now. The name is literally JTH Boxing. So just go on Instagram, type that in, and follow, please. I'm trying to grow myself out there on more platforms than ever now. Even on TikTok. Get on my TikTok, man. Again, JTH Boxing on TikTok. Um, I just kind of post when I do interviews. I don't really post a lot. I also don't really post my own talking videos there. I kind of just do interviews. Whenever I interview someone, I put a clip up. Um, so yeah, big things coming. We've got a show with Sheffield next week for Dalton Smith. Um, so that'll be good. I'll definitely be there for the Wednesday if they do something on the Wednesday. I'll definitely be there for a press conference and weigh in. Um, and I'm hoping I get on the fight night as well. I would quite like. I think I'll go to the fight anyway. Um, if there's still tickets going, I don't know if there's tickets going or not. Um, but I'll do my best. I will do my best. Um, so yeah, obviously that's a bit of the waffle done. Let's what other boxing news is there? Obviously Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank seems to be all agreed now. That's what the general hearing is. We don't know whether that's taking place in uh the UAE or the UK yet, and we're still waiting for that. Um, but yeah, we'll have to see what's popping with that. We'll have to see what's cracking. Um, what else? Still no news on Tyson Fury really and who he's facing. This is the part of the video where I'll jump on Twitter quickly and I'll just do a little scroll and see what comes up and see what I need to talk about. Gavin Gwynn. Gavin Gwynn's obviously got his Mexican and the European. Why did I say Mexican? It's because of his nickname. Um, but yeah, he's got his. Oh, uh, okay. Well, this is just out there for proper hardcore boxing fans. Kamil Sokolowski's actually retired. Um, yeah, yeah, apparently he's just retired. Wow. That's a shame because he's a really good test of those journeymen, man. Very, very, very good test. Um, so yeah, wow, that's caught me off guard. That's it. Dan Aziz versus Joshua Buatsi. Thank God that fight's getting made, but I have to question why they're going to Brighton. Now, Ben Shalom's justification is they want to take boxing to places where it doesn't normally go. Fair play. Like, no, don't get me wrong, like fair play for wanting to do that. But there's just some fights that have to take place in certain places. And Buatsi versus Dan Aziz is a London-based fight. No if, buts, or maybes. That should be a London-based fight. But if it is Brighton they go to, then fair play. I support it the whole way because at the end of the day, boxing doesn't go. It kind of like he's in one way. He said it in a second out interview. In one way, he's right that boxing does go to the same cities, but that's because they go to the cities where it's marketable, where a lot of people will go, where there's things to do around it. Um, if you go Brighton, if you're gonna go to one of those places like a Brighton, a Bournemouth, all these like not major cities, you will go there if you have a fighter you can put on that show, like a ticket selling fighter in that area. Um, it doesn't help that Brighton so far. I'm not being funny. I reckon you can get away with putting shows on in like Midlands type places because it was set like don't get me wrong. When Boxer went to Birmingham for Boatsi's first debut fight, don't get me wrong. The whole card in itself worked. The main event was just in the wrong place, but obviously they were able to sell that card a bit more because they had a lot of like West Midlands talent on that card. You had Tyler Denny, Ben Whitaker, Danny Quartermain, um, Kirsty Babington, Casey Benjamin. I think every other fight bar the main event involved someone from Brum, um, or around Brum, because obviously that Ben Whitaker's not from Birmingham. I think he's from Wolverhampton. He said, or yeah, I think he said was it Wolverhampton or what? I don't know. Yeah, Wolverhampton. I think he said. Um, either way. that worked because, or it kind of worked because they had the fight, they had the undercard strength to it. Whereas going Brighton, do they really have anyone that can sell tickets in Brighton? I don't think so. Obviously it doesn't help that it's right down on the coast as well, right down south. Um, so that doesn't do any favors either. Um, it'll be interesting how they map out that undercard. That's what I'll say. And see if they can get fighters who can sell tickets because that fight will sell. Don't get me wrong, that fight sells tickets. It's just, do people want to travel down to Brighton? Who knows? Um, but yeah, I think that's about it from me. Um, obviously, we're going to keep knocking away in the background to try and improve a few things. Obviously, like I said, online interviews are coming back soon as possible. I'm going to reach out to some people right after this actually, and just get them all sorted, get them all like locked in. I've got names in mind. I'm not going to reveal any names. You can probably guess the names though if we're going to look at the channel theme. Um, but yeah, that's all from me really. I'll see you later on in the week. I'm going to talk about we got Edgar Berlanga this weekend. But there's no UK boxing. It was meant to be Josh Kelly versus Caruso this weekend, but we not got that anymore. We've not got that, sadly. That takes place July 15th now. So I might be going to that one. I'm gonna try get myself down to Josh Kelly. Do a little Newcastle fight night. Why not? But yeah, that's it. Like, subscribe, comment, stick around. Like I said, we've got a lot of shows coming up. I'm still going to sit here and say how excited I am for July 29th, by the way. Liam Davies, I'm not paid by Queensberry to promote this. I'm just genuinely so excited for Liam Davies, Jason Cunningham. I'm not going to waffle on about it for too much longer. But wow, that night is going to be so electric. And I think I'll be there. I'm just going to have to wait to hear back about my press application. But I think I'll be there. And that night is going to be unreal, especially with that bit of bad blood now, that tension between the two. It's going to be unreal. Um, obviously you got Sheffield, Josh Kelly, Birmingham for Matchroom next gen. Hopefully a couple other fights. We'll see what gets announced. And gym visits. I'm going to start setting myself up. I'm going to try and get myself a few gym visits. I'm just going to ask people how, like, I need to ask about and see how you approach that situation. Um, I think I might be speaking to Echo Westman soon, possibly going to meet him for an interview. Obviously, Echo's got a big fight coming up hopefully soon. Hopefully we hear some update on that sooner or later. Um, and yeah, that's about it from me now. Like, subscribe, comment, share this with all the people you know. Share it with your mum, share it with your dad, share it with your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your granddad, your siblings, your cousins, your mates, your acquaintances, your colleagues, you know, your teammates, your sparring partner, your fish, your cat. The list could go on and on and on, but I'm not going to keep you here. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for the continuing support. 2 subscribers off 400. Bosh. See you later, people. Adios.